another topic that we've talked about in recent weeks. More movie stuff happening. So, the writer Joe Carnahan for the Uncharted movie, which oddly is happening in June, but there have been no trailers. There's been no casting announcements for Nathan Drake, the main character of the film. I don't know if filming is happening. We know next to nothing about this movie. I just know that it's been in the works. They were talking about casting Mark Wahlberg for the lead. Yeah, and that was years ago. That was I want to say before Uncharted 3 even came out. So, but John Carnahan kind of wants to make this what he's calling an anti-Indiana Jones movie, which is kind of odd because Indiana Jones is one of the main inspirations.
What does that mean
for Uncharted? Well,
what does anti-Indiana Jones mean? That's not a real term.
Right. Because what defines an Indiana Jones movie? An artifact.
Yeah.
That he's after. He has a love interest usually. And then you swing on vines with monkeys with greaser hairstyles. I'm just kidding. It's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull reference. If you haven't seen it, it's better that way.
I don't know. Maybe it's maybe the stylization of maybe it's not the topic of the Indiana Jones music. Oh my gosh. The topic of the Indiana Jones movies, it's the way they did it is that's.
And according to in this honestly in this interview, he doesn't really expound upon it much more than that. He does talk about
he should probably get something done soon because ain't no one gonna see that movie if they don't know it exists.
Yeah, and are really odd, and I don't think they're correct. So let's get into let me get into his views here. And these are just his quotes with his interview with Collider, talking about the Uncharted movie. I think that it's going to need to be something that exceeds the sum of its parts. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't function as a straight lift of the video game. Okay.
I totally think it could.
It could be. I mean, Uncharted is a very cinematic experience as it is. So, he compared it to Zack Snyder's Watchmen. So, did you see Watchmen?
I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it too. Never read the graphic
novel. I wanted to. I just didn't.
Yeah, but a lot of people who did read it were like, this is really close to it. Frames and shots were done the same way. Very, very close to it. And people generally, they actually like that. Say what you want about Zack Snyder's recent films.
That's what they want.
Right. People like it when you stay. No, they don't want it. I don't think people want beat for beat.
No.
Because, and I try to, when you adapt something into a movie, whether it's a book, video game, or whatever, movies are their own medium. You can't take a 40-hour experience, cram it into a 2-hour window, and expect it to be exactly the same. It doesn't happen that way. Just the way films work. Can't be done. So you're gonna lose some things there. I mean, gosh, look at the Lord of the Rings movies. As great of an adaptation that they are.
I did not read those books.
I did.
I would not be able to tell you that's looking at the Harry Potter books is I have an issue with books. Okay, I love reading. However, if I pick up a book and I don't have time to read it anymore after that for a few days, I swear I just never go back to it. Mm-hmm. So I'll read 4 or 5 chapters in a book, put it down, and never read it again, even though I loved it. I don't know why I do that. I'm the same with shows. I do that with a whole ton of anime. There's Matt knows this, but there is this anime called Do Ra Ra Ra. I have seen up to the 16th episode 4 different times. Meaning I have rewatched it not fully 4 different times. And I don't know why. I just can't get back into it. So I wish I could read those books, but I can't. But Lord of the Rings was a great movie. I can tell you that much. You texting? That's rude.
I'm not texting. I am responding to someone in chat. So they had a specific request. So
what was their request?
There you go. The Uncharted movies, and he's got so let me part where I think he's really wrong. Yeah, completely off base. So we were talking about how they compared it to Watchmen. He said, I'm a big believer that the fanboy element or the fan lobbies are massively overrepresented in Hollywood and don't have nearly the lobbying power that we think they do. You can't be so slavish and devoted to the source material. So he's basically saying that movies, in general, stick too close to their source material when I feel 180 degrees the opposite. What do you think?
First of all, he worded that in a very unnecessarily offensive way. And two, no, it's what he's referring to as fans. It's not the fanboy. When I think fanboy, I think of someone that likes something, supports it and is devoted to it. However, it's something that's stupid and they don't really have a reason to be doing that to. However, the source material is it's got the name of the source material. You hurt the source material when you don't do a good enough job representing that source material.
Right.
And if you want to take that in opposite direction, at least he's making that known. At least if people don't know and they go to see this movie, at least he said this isn't going to be what you expect.
Yeah, it's exactly.
At the very least. However, if people have been waiting for this movie, and if this is the kind of movie they want to see, something that does directly represent the game, which why not?
Right. Yeah, he
sounds really pretentious to me, to be honest. That's about what it comes down to.
I think
he's putting a lot more into it than what there needs to be, and to make himself sound as if he's more artistic than what he really is.
Right. No, I think pretentious is the perfect word for how he's coming off here. Number one, I would say fan lobbyists or the fans is nowhere near what he's implying that it is. I would say that if anything, that's the number one complaint about movies based on other things. It's that we don't get we don't get what we're looking for. I still, my initial point though about, there is a reason why you have people in credits that it says screenplay adaptation by, because you are a story from one medium into another. You have to do that. I mean, that's the essence of film. It's, we don't have time to watch 10 hours worth of something.
Yeah.
Unless it's, broken into several films like Lord of the Rings. But Uncharted, it's definitely something that you can easily, it's almost like the formula is there. It's something that almost like he's saying it would be too easy to do what fans of this franchise would be expecting. That's kind of what I'm getting from him. You don't trust me. I've got a much better idea.
Which is pretentious. It's not.
Yes.
He just sounds like a jerk, especially when you've got people that have been so say they're in this camp of, I want an Uncharted movie that's like the game. Which, how could you want an Uncharted movie that's not like the game? That doesn't make sense. because Uncharted the game is the only Uncharted thing that there is. Therefore, to have an Uncharted movie, it has to be like the game. Or
Right.
so if they're in this camp, which only makes sense, he's now called all of them not correct. Like, I am like, my idea is better than what you are thinking right now.
Right.
And that's just not cool.
And also the fact that he phrased it as, I want to make an anti-Indiana Jones movie, when Indiana Jones is one of the main influencing characters.
I would not like this guy if I met him.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't know. Like if and this is the writer now, so let's kind of take that into stride. The writer is only one person on the team. He doesn't have as much creative control, I would argue, as the director. Producers often even have more say than the writer does. So, and also writers get swapped out every so often. So maybe it's not. It doesn't. I don't think that the movie is doomed because this guy is saying what he's saying. But yeah. Actually, someone mentioned in chat too much taste. Right. You would trim that stuff down. Of course, you're not going to base a movie on the gameplay.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that is why I ended up not getting it. Is because when I pay for a game, there's a big reason I don't get Telltale games. I don't want to play a book. Like,
I've never been a fan. I'm with you there because I've never been a fan of the point and click.
I never liked it. Like, I want to put myself in the shoes of like the character I'm playing. Say I'm playing an actually decent Sonic game. Like, I want to feel like Sonic for that time that I'm staring at that screen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to go fast.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I do. I don't really like seeing games play out like movies or books. I don't like it. It's like that's not what the game experience is.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't give me the satisfaction. I love story. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love story. RPGs are my favorite.
I was about to say
genre.
RPGs are full of it.
And it's great. However, that's not all you're not 100% getting story. And in those games, and Telltale games, stuff like Uncharted, I feel like there's just not enough in there for it to not feel just like a story. Especially if I'm going to pay $60 for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have never actually played Uncharted myself, so I don't know for sure what the game is like.
I've played the first two.
I just never really hit me as something I'd like.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect fit for a movie, especially since
it is. It really looks like it.
Yeah, especially when Harrison Ford, love you, buddy, love you. You're too old to keep playing Indiana Jones. We don't need number 5. We don't. You know that's happening, right?
No, in Indiana Jones 5?
With Harrison Ford reprising his role. The
like
dude is in his
112.
70s. Like, no,
Oh, goodness.
we don't need you.
Shawshank Redemption 2. That's what I want. I want some follow-up, man. I don't care if it's just a regular little life or them just painting a boat together.
But yeah, you can definitely, there's so many, it's a genre of film that I think needs to be rekindled. I mean, what a better way to do that than something that's already established, like right.
Uncharted.
You have an established fan base, and it's something that easily translates into film.
Easily.
Mess with it.
Easily. And this guy, I'm not sure why they would put someone like him there. You know what I mean? Like, how did he get to the point where he was just like, people thought he was so good that he was able to say that stuff and not piss a bunch of people off? You know what I mean?
Yes, I can IMDb him and see what other stuff he's done or been involved in.
I hope it's not impressive so I can keep making fun of it.
But yeah, if Joe Carnahan has much say in the movie, I'm probably not going to like it if he's going from this perspective.